Did you know there are people who spend an hour of their life to save 60 cents on a purchase? And at the same time, there are people who don't even blink to spend $60 on something that will save them an hour of their time. The difference between these two people isn't luck, it's not inheritance, it's not IQ, it's literally how they think about money. And today I'm going to show you the 16 main mental differences between rich and poor people. Look, when I say poor people, I'm not judging anyone here, okay? I was poor for most of my life. I'm talking about mindset, those thought patterns that keep us trapped or set us financially free. And if you stay with me until the end, you'll leave here with a completely new understanding of why some people attract money like a magnet, while others are always in the red. This content comes from one of the most transformative books I've ever read, Secrets of the Millionaire Mind by T. Harv Eker. The guy studied rich and poor people for years and discovered that there are specific thought patterns that determine financial success. The good news, these patterns can be changed. It's like switching your brain's financial operating system. Let's begin. Rich people think big, poor people think small. Picture this scene. You go to the supermarket and spend 2 hours going between 5 different stores to save 50 cents on detergent. If you spend an hour to save 60 cents, mathematically speaking, your hour is worth 60 cents. Meanwhile, a person with a rich mindset is thinking, how can I make my hour worth $60 or $600? And the difference isn't that rich people don't care about money. They understand that time is the scarcest resource that exists. Here's one that hurts. Rich people choose to be paid for the results they deliver. Poor people want to be paid for the time they spend. You've heard that complaint. I've worked here for 5 years. I deserve a raise. But think about it. If I spent 80 hours producing a horrible video, would you watch it just because I spent a lot of time making it? Of course not. You want results, a video that adds value to your life. The market pays for value delivered, not for effort. Rich people think I can have both. Poor people think I need to choose one or the other. Do you want career success or a close relationship with your family? Why not both? Want to focus on business or have fun? How about both? Poor people see the world as a cake. If someone takes a bigger slice, there's less for others. Rich people see it as an all-you-can-eat buffet. There's always more being served. Many people have this block with money. But money doesn't bring happiness. People who said you need to choose, money is important, happiness is also important. You can have both. This one here is my favorite. Every time I share a new idea, it's impressive how reactions divide. People with a poor mindset immediately list all the reasons why the idea will fail. But that won't work because, logically, what if it goes wrong? Swing, that's too risky. While rich people look at the same idea and ask, what an incredible opportunity. How can I make this work? It's a simple universal law. If you focus on problems, you'll have more problems. If you focus on opportunities, you'll have more opportunities. If you want to fly with eagles, don't swim with ducks. Rich people associate with positive and successful people. Poor people surround themselves with negativity. But I don't know any millionaires. Look, you don't need to have dinner with them every Sunday. You can hang out with successful people by reading their books, watching their videos, listening to their podcasts. The authors I read are my rich friends. I spend hours with them consuming their content, and it works. Rich people know exactly what they want. Poor people just want to be rich. It's like arriving at a bakery and saying, "Hi, I want some bread." The attendant will be confused, right? Which bread? There are 50 different types. Now imagine arriving and saying, "I want a fresh French bread, not too salty, and if possible, one that came out of the oven less than an hour ago." Done. You'll leave with exactly what you asked for. The same logic applies to money. It's no use saying, "I want to be rich." You need to define, what does a rich life mean for you? For me, a rich life means waking up when I want, working from wherever I want, being able to open any restaurant menu and choose what I want without looking at the price first, being able to take my parents on a nice trip twice a year. Define your version of wealth. Rich people promote themselves and their value. Poor people think promotion is ugly. Look, if you had the cure for a serious disease, would you hide it from someone who's suffering? Of course not. If you have something that can really help people, it's your obligation to promote it. By not promoting yourself, you're doing a disservice. In fact, right now I'm selling this video to you and you're paying with your time. And I'm not ashamed of that because I know this content can transform your financial mindset. Rich people believe I create my life. Poor people believe life happens to me. You know who buys lottery tickets the most? Poor people. Why? Because they believe someone will pull their name out of a hat and solve all their problems. Rich people sit in the driver's seat. Poor people live as passengers. I have two cousins who grew up in the same city, went to the same schools, had the same teachers. Today, one is very successful, the other isn't. The most interesting part, both use the same reasons to explain their situations. The poor cousin blames, the system is bad, the government doesn't help, education is terrible. The rich cousin says, exactly. The system was bad indeed. That's why I started educating myself and creating my own opportunities. Same facts, opposite perspectives. Rich people manage their money well. Poor people manage it poorly. Money is a tool like your phone or computer. You spend hours learning to use your phone, but when it comes to learning about money, I don't have time for that. That's crazy. You sell your life working 9 to 5 to earn money, but you don't want to dedicate even an hour to learn how to manage it better. The author recommends 5 accounts, 10% for investments, the golden goose, 10% for fun, that's right, money to spend on nonsense and feel rich, educational account, donation account, and the rest for expenses. But I'll start managing when I have more money. It's like a person weighing 120 kilos saying, I'll start dieting when I lose 10 kilos. It doesn't work that way. First, you demonstrate you can manage what you have, then the universe gives you more to manage. The secret isn't to avoid problems, it's to grow to become bigger than them. The bigger the problems you can solve, the bigger the business you can run, the greater the responsibility you can handle, the more employees you can manage, and the more money you can earn. Problems are just situations. You can be fired and stay depressed all day, or you can use that free time to create your own business. Teams that only play defense have difficulty winning. Most people play the money game defensively. I want enough money to pay the bills. Guess what happens when your intention is to have enough money to pay bills? You get exactly that and nothing more. You have to aim for the stars to hit at least the moon. If your goal is to be comfortable, you'll probably never be rich. But if your goal is to be rich, you'll be very comfortable. Rich people make money work for them. Poor people work for money their whole lives. Of course, you have to work for your money at first. But for rich people, this is temporary. For poor people, it's eternal. The first goal should be financial freedom. When your passive income exceeds your monthly expenses. Is it easier to climb a 10-step ladder or a 1,000-step ladder? Obviously, 10 steps. Financial freedom is the 10-step ladder. Getting rich is the 1,000-step ladder. Focus first on the smaller ladder. Create enough passive income so you don't have to work for anyone. Then you can focus on becoming a millionaire. When people ask about money, they always say, "How much do you earn?" Wrong question. The right question is, what's your net worth? Wealth isn't measured by what you earn, but by what you accumulate. Net worth equals everything you own, house, investments, money, minus everything you owe. Do this calculation now. Draw a vertical line, put 0 at the bottom and your wealth goal at the top. Mark where you are today. What gets measured gets improved. The difference isn't that rich people don't feel fear. They do, but they act anyway. Poor people let fear paralyze them. If you only do what's comfortable, your life will be uncomfortable. But if you do what's uncomfortable, your life will be comfortable. Fear is a product of the mind. Your mind is a danger detector, not a success detector. As soon as you want to do something new, it will show you 1,000 catastrophic scenarios. Learn to train your mind. The 3 most dangerous words are, "I know that," How do you know that you know? If you've experienced it, you know. If you've only heard about it, read about it, or talk about it, you don't know. If you're not as successful as you'd like, there's something you still don't know. If you keep doing what you've always done, you'll keep getting what you've always gotten. Rich people admire other rich people. Poor people envy and criticize. When I was younger, there was a very rich neighbor with a new Mercedes. Everyone in the neighborhood talked badly about him. Must be a criminal, makes dirty money. Years later, working, I met this guy. I discovered he spent his childhood in poverty, which motivated him to study, work hard, and eventually become a CEO of a company. Poor people see others' success with resentment. Rich people see it as inspiration. So of these 16 differences, which one made the most sense to you? Which one do you need to work on the most? Look, I know it's a lot of information at once, but here's the summary of the summary. Your financial mind determines your financial reality. If you want different results, you need different thoughts. It's that simple. The first step, choose one of these differences and work on it this week. Don't try to change everything at once. If this video helped you see money differently, hit that like button. It shows YouTube that the content is valuable and helps more people find these ideas. Subscribe to the channel for more content about financial mindset and tell me in the comments which of these 16 differences caught your attention the most. Change starts in your mind, and your mind is in your hands. Until the next video.